Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this one I wanted to do a review of the May update patch notes for Marvel Future Fight. We're getting 4 new uniforms this update. A new uniform for Sentry, Hulk, Thor and Ant-Man. So let's get started and see what their abilities look like. First off, we have Sentry, the Darkness Merged uniform, and right off the bat you can see that this is the first uniform they ever released that costs 3,250 crystals, but it's on 50% sale because of the anniversary, and it will cost 1,625 crystals. So I know this is pricey, but his skills will probably be amazing. So let's see. So first off, he increases his pierce damage by 5%, and he has this excluding bosses ignores enemies damage decrease by 15%. This is like mini greed effect applied to his uniform effect. I think this will be really powerful. I will be doing a review of the Sentry's uniform as soon as I get his potential, so stay tuned for that. For his leadership, he increases all basic attacks for all allies and removes all debuffs on 20-second cooldown. That's really good. His tier 2 passive increases his chain hit damage by 25%, gives him super armor and 50% basic defenses and 40% decreases basic damage. So already this looks like he'll be a prime candidate for CTP of Authority or CTP of Conquests. We'll test him out and we'll see what his best CTP for PvP is. His first ability has Burn, so that's already one cancel for ABX. Stun, that doesn't matter, and Energy Attack, nothing special. His second ability is an iframe ignore on 4 seconds cooldown. That's really good, and it has massive amounts of effects. So he decreases recovery rate and removes elasticity from the opponents. He removes active buffs from targets. He has fracture, that's another ABX/ABL cancel, as well as paralysis. He heals himself for 20% of max HP. He has 80% chance to penetrate all, super armor, barrier shield, blah blah blah. He removes all debuffs and has 4 seconds of fall damage immunity. This skill is looking insane. I think this will be a nightmare to deal with in PvP. Then for his third skill, he gets another paralysis and accumulates 10% of pure damage when attacking, and decreases his all basic attacks by 1% for each one pure damage accumulated. So this is when dealing damage, he accumulates the damage. So this skill is looking really good as well, especially for PvE. Void Landing gives him 15 times the barrier, has stun and silence, so another ABX/ABL cancel, increases his energy attack and deals damage. And his fifth skill deals Sphere, removes active buffs from targets, again another paralysis, decreases all basic defenses. He recovers 40% of his max HP, gives him 6 seconds of invincibility, and gets a frenzy buff. Look at this. Critical rate increased by 50%. So yeah, Sentry is looking insane. By the way, even though he's Darkness Merged, he remains a superhero, so that's another thing to consider. So he remains a superhero. He's looking insane. Like, he will definitely be a meta for PvP, but he's looking good for PvE as well. So I'll test him out and we'll see how powerful he really is. Then we have Hulk, the Titan, new uniform. This is a regular cost uniform. You can buy it now for 875 crystals, or not now, but tomorrow when the patch is released. He is a super villain in this uniform, and he gets a decent amount of skill changes. So here from his uniform effect, he gains 30% crit rate, 50% crit damage, and increases his chain hit by 15% when attacking. His ultimate skill gains the normal stuff, so penetration, invincibility, frenzy buff, and his physical damage is still scaled off of his HP. So now he applies to all allies the all basic defenses when he's a leader by 24% and increases his HP by 30% when he's the leader. His new tier 2 passive gives him super armor and increases his defenses by 30%, decreases his damage received by 35%, and increases his skill damage and bonus damage by these amounts. His enraged passive gives him 4% of HP recovering every 1 second, and when his health is below 33%, he gets a massive 60% heal, so this basically heals him up to the max HP, and this has a cooldown of 150 seconds, but this massive heal of 60%, this one has 1 second cooldown, so every 1 second he recovers 4% of the HP, and every 150 seconds, so 2.5 minutes, he gains a full HP heal when he's dropped below 33%. His first skill has one of the ABX/ABL cancels, the snare. He has another one here in the form of silence. On his third skill, he does get burn. He has another snare. He gets 33% chance to penetrate, increases his maximum HP by 50%, and he gains damage accumulation based on his HP increase, so this skill is really good. And this is also the skill that has the ignore targeting, so he will have some value in PvP. We'll see if he can compete with current metas like Thanos, Silver Surfer, and Adam Warlock, etc., as well as Sentry. So if he was released in this state without Sentry, I think he might find his place in PvP, but now, given that the Sentry is released, I have my doubts, but we'll have to wait and see him in action. In his fourth skill, he has Silence and Shock for ABX and ABL, and on his fifth skill, he has Fracture. So I think he has all the, and Paralysis again. So I think he has all ABX and ABL cancels, so maybe he'll replace Dr. Octopus in the ABX and ABL because he has all of the Alliance Battle cancels, and his fifth skill is the Infinite skill. You can channel the laser, as we've seen in the developer stream. You can infinitely, so I suspect that he might be, if he fails in PvP, he seems to be good in PvE. So, because, like, if he can't compete with Sentry and current PvP metas because he has all ABX, ABL cancels, he might be good for PvE, especially in the Alliance Battle modes. We'll have to wait and see. Next up we have Thor. He remains a superhero. It's still a regular cost uniform. His uniform effect gets buffed from the previous one. Previously he had increased skill damage by 20% and increases bonus damage by 20%, and he even previously had 15% chain hit damage and 30% decreased basic damage received. So this is a small buff by 10% in his skill damage and bonus damage. And the rest of the abilities, let me see. So his fifth skill is the same. It has the same accumulation, so nothing buffed there. Let's see the frenzy buff. His frenzy buff is also the same. I think previously he had like 15% heal, now he has 25%, but the damage is the same. The barrier is the same, so his passive is the same. Both of his passives are the same, so I don't know, man. I mean, he has a V-pad now on his third skill, but his passives are looking the same. I'm kind of worried that this uniform will be maybe easier to play, as in it will have better rotation, but from the text I'm looking at here, because I can tell the number of hits it will have now compared to the older uniform, but the effects like damage accumulation and the frenzy buff and the passives, they're exactly the same. So I'm not sure if this uniform will be more of a upgrade per se, but maybe as a side change. Like the older uniform might be better for something and this uniform might be better for something, because I'm kind of worried that they didn't increase anything from his text. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'll test him out. I'll have day one Thor comparison with his previous uniform. So if you can wait a day, I'll do the uniform comparison and I'll tell you if he's worth your crystals. Maybe he's now better in Alliance Battle, maybe he's better in Dimension Rift farming, maybe he's better in World Boss. I have to wait and test his number of hits, because from the text he kinda looks the same, so I don't know. I'm kinda worried about Thor. Finally, we have Ant-Man, remains a supervillain. He has a regular cost uniform. He's finally getting his tier 3 and the first uniform ever for Ant-Man. For his uniform effect, he gains super armor and his basic defenses are increased by 40%. He gets immunity to incapacitation effect and decreases all damage received by 30%. That's really cool. He has a really good leadership that increases all basic attacks by 60% and 30% increase of HP to all allies. That's really good. His tier 2 passive increases his critical damage by 30%, guaranteed crit rate by 30%, and then skill damage bonus damage. So yeah, his passive is Antimatter Force Shield, which whenever he's hit with a cooldown of 5 seconds, he recovers 6% of HP and gets 1 barrier. Like, I don't know if this will be good enough, but we'll have to wait and see. I think this is weak. His barrier should be a lot higher and maybe his HP should be higher, especially because he can go only up to tier 3 now, but we'll see. So for his first skill he gets incapacitation, he gets damage immunity for 5 seconds, and he gets damage accumulation on the first skill based on the damage received. That's pretty unique. I think we've never had a character so far that has damage accumulation on his first skill. He has, on his second skill, he has silence and paralysis. That's really good. On his third skill, he gets a frenzy buff, small frenzy buff, 35, 35, and 1%. He has incapacitation, another paralysis on his fourth skill, another damage immunity. Okay, he gets another frenzy buff on his fourth skill, so when you combine these two, he gets all basic attacks and defense at 65%, he gets 6% all speed, so that's pretty good. And on his fifth skill, he gets fracture, he gets silence, so I think he's only missing burn and shock from the ABX and ABL cancels. He seems decent. Especially, he might even have some value in PvP because he has ignore targeting. Not necessarily in the timeline battle, but in Alliance Conquest, because he has ignore targeting and removes buffs and decreases all basic defenses, heals, increases his attacks. He probably will have some value in Alliance Conquest or other world battle. We'll test him out and see how he performs. Then finally we come to the Sentry's tier 4 skill, when his striker skill is called Light and Darkness. When activated, he recovers 15% of his HP, and he acquires the following effect for 7 seconds. So whenever a skill is used, he increases his basic attacks by 30% up to 60%. So whatever this is, 30%. So after you use his tier 4 skill and you get a little bit of heal, and after you use 2 skills you get a maximum increase of his basic attack. So nothing too special, but given that Sentry has already a massive amount of powerful skills in his kit, giving him an insane tier 4 skill like Jinx Gray's Reflect or something might make him a PvP meta for another 2 years. So yeah, this is okay given how powerful he is. Ant-Man's tier 3 skill gives him stun and silence, penetration, invincibility for 10 seconds, gives him a damage proc, and 100% increase charge rate to accumulate pure damage. So this is really cool effect. Now when he uses his tier 3 skill, which looks really cool, he doubles the amount of accumulated pure damage, so you'll be able to reach the maximum amount of accumulated pure damage after you use his tier 3 skill much faster. It's looking really good. We'll see how powerful he is at tier 3. Oh, finally, Fandral, Volstagg, and Hogun have their potential awakening in Transcendence. As you all know, these 3 characters are the best characters in the game. With Storm in her seasonal uniform, so these 3 characters are must build for everyone. They are, as you know, OG Marvel Future Fight characters. Finally, they're getting an upgrade. They will be meta breakers in PvE, PvP, and they'll solo every single stage of World Boss Legend and max on every single ABX and ABL day. So before building Sentry, Hulk, or anything else, build these characters to transcended potential and max level. Use up all your saved resources. They're the best characters in the game. So yeah, sarcasm by the way, don't build these characters unless you don't have anything to spend your materials on. This is how their transcended potential skill looks like. It's pretty cool, similar to Valkyries and Sifs and the usual triangle, multicolor triangles around the enemies. So yeah, okay, that's special. So we're coming up next with PvP content balance adjustments. So the balance for PvP content has been adjusted so that the agents can participate in more battles with various heroes. That's good. The rate of additional pierce damage stat that applied in PvP content has been adjusted. Applied content's Timeline Battle, Alliance Conquest, and Otherworld Battle, and additional pierce damage stat has been adjusted as follows. So before, every single pierce stat we had was applied at 100% rate. So if we have 25% pierce, we get 25% pierce. However, after this update, they reduced the pierce damage by 50%, so now if we have, let's say, 30% pierce, we'll only get 15% pierce in Timeline Battle and Alliance Conquest, and we'll get 70% of that in Otherworld Battle. So it's still valuable, but not as insane as before. In addition, what else have they done? The number of debuff characters for Otherworld Battle has been added. Before, 3 heroes are selected based on the first round and maximum of 6 heroes are maintained. After, 8 heroes are selected. So this is massive. In Otherworld Battle, we'll have many more heroes debuffed. So they incentivize you, by debuffing characters, they incentivize you to build many PvP characters so you can compete at the highest level and build your swords and get more powerful, get tokens to switch for tier 4 materials or CTP chests. So yeah, overall I think this is a good change because now PvP is simply a one-shot meta. I hope this will be enough, so it's not just Adam Warlock uses his second skill and kills every single of your characters if you're max HP and all basic defenses are not over 100, so I think this will be a good change. We'll have to wait and see. And the third change they're doing for the PvP is the following has been applied only to Timeline Battle. At the start of the battle, the cooldown time penalty for the attacker's active 1 to 4 is reduced, and the defender is given a small penalty. So when you're playing Timeline Battle now, your skills will have lesser cooldown. The skill cooldown time has been removed for both the attacker and the defender after tagging a hero, and the invincibility time after tagging is reduced. So no longer after tagging will you have as much as invincibility as before, but you won't have skill cooldown time for neither the attacker or defender after you tag. So now, if I understand this correctly, let's say you have a team of Colossus first, then Thanos second. If you tag Colossus and tag in Thanos, your Thanos will now have all his skills ready when tagged. So, and I think this is a pretty good change. And the final change, the attackers and defenders' HP and defense have been adjusted to have more influence than before. Okay, so this is massive. I don't know what exactly means more influence than before, but if you get even more HP based on your max HP from cards and more defenses from all basic defenses you have on your cards, maybe we're entering a meta where these two stats on your cards will be even more needed than before, so and we'll enter a tanky timely meta. Overall, I'm excited for these changes. I'll test them out and see how they're performing and if these changes will shift the meta in a positive way or negative way. I'll do a follow-up video and do a review for you guys regarding the PvP content balance adjustments. We also get a new team-up collection, the Avengers Part 1, so this is the same collection we have for things like X-Men, Midnight Suns, Guardians of the Galaxy, but this time we're getting the Avengers, so Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, Captain Marvel, Vision, Ant-Man, and Wasp. So Thor now can go up to 35% pierce, Spider-Man can go up to 35% pierce, and Iron Man can go up to 35% pierce, so maybe this will influence their power level in the current meta. I don't think this will change a lot, but it's not something that we can fully skip, so slowly grind tokens if we have the ability. I hope they added it, and increase your characters. Do not buy these tokens, just slowly grind them to ABX and ABL if they added it. So yeah, it's the same collection as before. Oh, okay, Alliance Battle improvements. Give me something good. So new rewards have been added, yes. Keep challenging yourself to obtain higher score rewards. 1. Collection token, Guardians of the Galaxy has been added to small medium token. So finally we get Guardians of the Galaxy tokens from the small and medium collection chest tokens in addition to Midnight Suns, Sinister Six, and the X-Men. We also get Guardians of the Galaxy, but yeah, they didn't add the Avengers, right? Yeah, they didn't add the Avengers, so we'll have to wait a couple of updates before they add the Avengers. I assume that whenever they introduce a new collection, they'll add the previous collection to the Alliance Battle rewards. So, okay. Agents can now obtain the remaining rewards even with the record challenge if the score rewards list remains after completing the initial challenge. So let's say you first get 8 million in ABX and you complete it and you play Alliance Battle Legend afterwards. If you play it again and you score, let's say, 30 million, you can get 2 extra tiers of rewards. So you can now challenge yourself and get more rewards if you didn't score those rewards the first time you played. So this is overall a good change. Getting new artifacts. So Sentry's artifact increases his damage dealt to supervillains by 20% and increases his max HP by 20%. Powerful artifact. I really like it. It will increase. It's not a must-have artifact, but it will increase his power. Anti-Man's artifact increases his damage by to superheroes and supervillains. So pretty standard here. Okay, so best 3 artifacts in the game, by the way. Ignores target's dodge rate, like increases his basic attacks, increases his crit rate. Like, yeah. So ignore these if you can. If you have saved up selectors, or if there are new selectors for the update, you can get this artifact. It will boost your Sentry's damage and survivability. You can ignore this. I mean, it's a good artifact, but if you have a choice between these two, Sentry is the way to go. We get a new Future Pass and special icons. New season of the Future Pass will begin after the update. It's a regular season pass. We get Sentry icon from the Legendary Pass and Weapon of Recognition, the Mjolnir, from the Mythic Pass. Here is what the icons look like. So we have Sentry, we have Mjolnir, we have the Vikings, and this uniform, this icon from the Anti-Man is looking really good. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. We get a new uniform collection for Sentry, Thor, Hulk, and Anti-Man. You get, what is this, 180 Titan component packs, so really good reward. Not. Other improvements and changes, so we get a buff on daily rewards. So instead of getting 15 energy on daily challenges, we're getting 20 energy. And on weekly challenges, instead of getting 45 clear tickets, we're getting 1,000,000 gold. And instead of getting 200,000 gold, we're getting 2,000,000 gold. So this is insane buff. I really like this. Getting an extra like almost 3,000,000 gold is every week is needed because it's much welcome. I really like this change. It wouldn't hurt them if they increased like this rewards by 10 crystals and maybe this by 20 crystals. Would it would not hurt them financially, but it would go a long way in the community. However, I don't want to be greedy because these rewards, like getting extra 3 billion gold out, getting more energy to farm your dimension rifts, for example, is a really good change. So yes, do more this Netmarble. Everybody likes these changes. So we also get the improved UI for the comic cards. So now if you have cards that are not registered in the card collection that are of the legend grade, so 5 stars, meet the conditions to upgrade to mythic grade, a notification red mark will be displayed on Tibet cards. So you can quickly register the card to the corresponding team. Okay, so if I get this correctly, you'll now get a notification if you have a card of 5 stars and you have materials to upgrade it. You'll now get another red dot because we do not have enough of those in the game. So whatever change, if I understand this correctly, this is a whatever change, so nothing special here. The balance of the world boss conquer level has been improved. Okay, the conquer level effect of the previous bosses increased the instinct damage when playing a legend plus difficulty world boss. Oh, so they made Black Swan easier, right? Before, the Conquer effect applied when challenging Legend plus Black Swan. So before, Kang the Conqueror increased your basic damage dealt, increased, and Black Swan basic damage dealt increased, and after we're getting instinct buff and basic damage increase buff. So they're making it easier to break Black Swan's shield, so I think Black Swan will now be easier. We'll test her and see. Oh my god, what is this? We're getting 600 extra, or like, what, 400 extra inventory slots, 500 extra, yeah. Wow. Great job, Netmarble. You need to be applauded by this. Like, this is insane change. I do not regret supporting you this anniversary. Like, make more of these changes, listen to your community. This is a small change that, I mean, it's not small change, this is a massive change. So you won't have to play it inventory manager after every single dimension mission clear or something. So yeah, I love this. This, apart from the uniforms and the 60 damage and the PvP. I mean, this patch does have a lot, so, but I really love this inventory slot increase. Okay, so they made Dormammu even easier. They added a new sorting rule for uniforms, and we have some game error fixes. Well, boss with the hero, so they nerfed Maximus, right? Or they fixed some attack patterns for Maximus in the 10-2 stage. Red dot alerts, not disappearing when other world battle is completed. 10 crystal reward for the recommended goal tier 4 character in your casters need help screen not being acquired. So I think everybody who now owns tier 4 character will now get extra 10 crystals. We will return with the various content improvements, so please stay tuned. So overall, I think this patch is looking really decent. I'm most excited for PvP changes, the inventory slot buff, the instinct damage increase from World Boss Conquer level, and of course Sentry, Hulk and Thor. Not as much as Thor. I'll do a day one video to see if he's worth buying. You can wait and see if he's worth your crystals. That will be followed up with the Hulk or Sentry update, depending on if I get his potential. So yeah, overall pretty nice update. They are finishing this anniversary with a bang, I think. So tell me in the comments down below what you think. If you want to discuss update further, you can join Discord and we'll talk about the game, hang out, and maybe I can even help you build your accounts or make purchases during anniversary while it's still active. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.